Hey, everybody, this is The Beard with Bearded Bird Productions. Thanks for joining us. Today, I have with me the lovely Laura and the terrific Taylor. How are you guys doing today? I mean, I figured I was going to go with the alliteration on that.
Great
I'm changing my Twitter handle immediately. Oh, man, I'm definitely doing that.
So you guys, obviously, it's been a minute. I want to make sure that everybody had seen the final episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Make sure you guys were able to watch it in the entirety. What'd you guys think? I mean, ladies first, I'll throw it to you, Laura. What'd you think? Any tears shed?
I had to watch it twice because the first time I watched it, I had just had my COVID second dose, and I think I fell asleep half the time, so I had zero emotion.
Good, so you're really invested.
Yeah,
you're just
took those extra steps. Yeah,
I was just like, I'm gonna watch this. And then I got to the end and I was like,
one eye open.
Is it already done? That's so odd.
I've only been here 3 minutes.
Yeah. So I opted to the next day watch episodes 5 and 6. And then I shed some tears towards the end. I thought it was a beautiful ending, to be entirely honest. It rounded out everything. It set up some really cool things that could continue to happen after this, but also wrapped up all of the main plot points, if you will, really nicely, and also made me angry.
Good. Anger is a strong emotion.
That's what it should. Yeah, I guess it should at some points, right?
I thought that was they were going for the anger early on. I don't think they were going for the anger at the end, but that's fine.
I think right from the last few seconds of the first episode, everyone was just like anger, like instant like rage.
Which I will definitely talk about Wyatt Russell in a little bit, because my God, did that man? He's the next Loki in my mind. But yeah, we'll talk about that. Taylor, what do you think? Did you have to watch it 2 times because you fell asleep, or?
I did not. No, I didn't. I kept both eyes open for the most part. At least at the same time, I guess. No, I was invested every Friday. I was working mornings. I'd stay up till 1 or stay up till 3 when I think it dropped, and I was like, I'm doing it before work, and I'll go back and rewatch it after work. And I was fully invested. Even I'm sure the comparison between this and like WandaVision is going to be a huge thing going on, but I was full set for this one from the beginning. WandaVision took me a couple episodes, as I'm sure it did with a lot of people, but this just went, it just hit the gas like immediately. And I think everybody kind of was super pumped for that.
Yeah, no, a lot of people that I was talking to, they were initially comparing it to WandaVision. Because WandaVision did take a lot of people a long time. I know, watching it with my wife, like she would be sitting next to me, she'd be like, I don't know what just happened, and here I am, I'm the guy that reads the comics. I'm like, oh, I know where they're going with this, and she's just like, okay, cool, good for you. I'm fucking lost. I got nothing.
Right, like, yeah, regular viewers are probably like, what?
But
I was a little nervous when the first one dropped. Yeah,
but everybody talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier, I mean, it hits the ground running, and it kept moving really well. I'd say it had maybe 2 slow points, I'd say, in the entire season. One would be the penultimate episode, right before they're building everything up. It's date night with Sam and Bucky. Let's go build a boat. So they had a great time, the great episode. I really did love like the character development, the calm before the storm kind of feeling. So I thought that was great. And then the ending of Captain America and the Winter Soldier, if you will, I thought it was really strong. I thought it was interesting how they tied it all together, because when you think of like a true, like, an ending with a lot of the Marvel movies, it's like, cool, here's the ending, here's the button, here you go, have fun. The final battle ended with, I think, another 30 minutes left of runtime, and we're like, all right, cool, time to tie up loose ends and leave you wanting more. It's like, okay, there's another ending. There's another ending scene. Okay, where are we going with this? Which, that's really what Marvel's doing right now, is they're like, okay, how many different things can I set up?
And I think that I'm glad you brought that up, because I was, after like that last fight scene, I was like, all right, this will end it. And then they just, like you said, another scene. And I think originally Spider-Man Far From Home was supposed to be the set of like phase 4, or the starting point. And I really think it's this show, because I mean, technically this takes place, I think, a few months before Far From Home, which, so I feel like this kind of really set everything going to Phase 4, especially after newer announcements and coming out and stuff like that. I think this is going to be like a set point that people look back to and go, okay, this is where this started and this is where that started.
Yeah,
I would definitely agree with that, because there's so much. Again, it ties a lot of things together. It sheds light on some things that maybe people were not thinking about before, brings back some characters that we haven't seen in a little bit, and in different ways than we were expecting to see them. Sharon. And I'm fine. That's
like on that, like I will
Sharon shade, yeah.
Watch the what was it? She introduced in episode 3, I think. So watch the episode 3 of my review. I did call it. I will say I called it.
You totally did. And I was like, no.
Well, I think
she wouldn't.
I think everybody and their mother was like, yeah, she's going to be the power broker. I'm just kidding. I'm throwing that out there because it's never going to happen. Everybody thought it because that's what they were leading you to believe. All the people with their little detective hats on. They're like, you know what? Yeah. It's going to be her. That's going to be the twist. But no one even, I didn't even believe myself. I even said, she's going to be the power broker. I'm completely wrong, but I'm sticking to it. And
exactly. There you go.
And that's what happened.
Take it where you get it,
Oh man, but it's one of those, like, and that's part of what killed me at the tail end. Those that post credit scene. I was like, oh my god.
But yeah, I mean the post credit after post credit, like definitely setting up the stage for all of what's coming next. And we'll talk about the future. We'll talk about that. We're definitely going to hit that up. But like about the villains, Sharon Carter as the power broker. Yeah, it was a big twist, but even in the second to last episode, when she's talking with Bartok the Leaper, she's like, okay, what is she doing? He's working for her. Does she work for somebody else? What strings is she pulling? The fact that he was able to beat Sam in a one-on-one fight, I was extremely happy that was the case, because when in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, when he went one-on-one with Steve Rogers, he gave him a run for his money for a little bit until Steve got pissed and was like, cool, I'm going to throw you against the wall and we'll call it a day. But they had things to do. Right. They had a good, like, he had good reactions and reflections to his attack. So I was so happy that, he was able to beat Sam. But I think that's kind of the charm of Sam as Captain America. He is kind of the everyday man.
God. Yeah. He's not just perfect. He's not a super soldier. He's not created by someone else, basically, essentially, or a half god, demigod. He's literally like America's soldier, and like whether or not America wants to recognize him is a whole other thing. But that was his speech at the end there also was just such an impactful thing, especially like considering everything that's still happening in the world today and in our country. Like, it's a lot.
I think that's the biggest thing too, and that was like his main focus for his monologue too, was I'm like, his only power is that he thinks things can get better and he can try to make things better and be that, and like you were saying, kind of correlate to what's going on today and the problems the country is facing as a whole. I feel like the whole show was really the focus of that, and was more of, that everybody kind of had a theme each show, as going through, and WandaVision was more of loss, and from what we've seen of what will come of Loki is more of like ego and stuff like that. And I think this one was kind of just set even more so in realism than Marvel usually is. They really just kind of like kicked the door open and we're like, hi, this is, how things are going, and it's, not that great and we should be changing things,
So do you
here's our new Cap,
Taylor, do you think that's going to be a theme in their movies as well, or do you think that's going to kind of stay true to just the TV shows?
I hope so. I hope that's something that we kind of do where we go, hi, this is what's happening outside of these movies and TV shows, and this is how we're going to kind of create the metaphor for that. I think we see it a little bit in previously in Black Panther, and I think we're going to see it again in newer versions and sequels. I think we're going to continue to see him in Cap 4, which was just announced. I think that's going to be a really prevalent issue outside of just his villains, of how the country sees him as the new Captain America.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with that. I hope it continues to be a thing because it's a good platform to be able to kind of touch on touchy subjects in a way that people aren't necessarily expecting, but if they're open to it, and they're usually more open in a creative setting like that with a movie or a TV show, to kind of just sit back and reflect a little bit more, because it hits a different tone. It's the same thing with like the music hits a different side of you than just someone necessarily speaking those words to you. It's hitting a different side of human nature. So I hope it has a great impact and they continue to keep it going because they have that power. They could easily just,
Yeah, I will say, I mean, Kevin Feige and the whole Marvel team, they've done nothing but evolve what they've been doing. I know we kind of talked about it earlier, but Iron Man was in 2008. Guys, that's
right.
That is insane. And the fact like how the story has progressed, how everything's been changing. They've had critiques in the past and they've been actively changing those critiques. People are making jokes about how well Marvel listens, on a smaller scale, with the whole release the Snyder cut to releasing the Zemo cut of him dancing. But Marvel's like, yeah, sure, here you go. But like they're listening, they're trying to act, they're trying to be ahead of the game and get their viewers what their viewers want. And that includes what I want to talk about next, which is the villains. Being one of their biggest critiques, even for me, is like they had so many one-off villains and they just kind of went away, whether it was new writers that had their own ideas, new villains that they wanted to include, so they had to push somebody aside. The fact that they have so many villains and so many characters that they want to incorporate, it's hard for them to bring everybody back in. Justin Hammer, I freaking love Justin Hammer, but where is he at? Oh, well, he's in prison, I guess. I don't know, no one really knows, but he's such a sub character that he's just thrown away. I'm hoping that Armor Wars, the TV show, comes in and he's just like, Hammer Industries, yeah, we're back. That's fingers crossed. Yes. But just I mean, he would with his little dance move, Sam Rockwell dance moves.
Right, yeah. Him and Zemo just need a dance team immediately. The cover art for that album would be fantastic. Yeah.
I'm so down for that.
Absolutely.
but I mean, they've done within the past two shows. Granted, WandaVision really only had one tangible villain, if you will. But they've really done a job trying to set the stage and be like, hey, these villains aren't dead. They're somewhere and they're still going to be alive and relevant. Right. Like the fact that Zemo was a Captain America villain and now he had his second position. Sharon Carter, we know, isn't going anywhere. They've established her as a villain. Agatha, they didn't kill her. They just said, hey, you're going to be here. And they even tied it up with, you're going to need me in the future. Like they're getting better about keeping their villains. And I think even the quality of their villains has definitely hit a stride in not only these TV shows, but the past couple movies. Thinking about like Mysterio even getting his last hit in, but like they have been doing better and better with the villains. I'd say top tier. You still got Loki and Killmonger, I think, as like the top two that they've had so far. Thanos aside, but I'm really excited to see what they do with both Sharon Carter, Zemo, and the introduction of Countessa Allegra Valentina.
I'm glad you got that right because I never will. But there's so many, I'll never get it right.
Just call her Val. Yeah, just call her Val.
Yeah, Val's fine.
But
Val's
only
fine.
Your head. Only your head.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I think, and I assume we're going to see her a lot more. I really think she's going to be kind of the, in a sense, the Bizarro, Nick Fury, in a sense, kind of setting up the other side of that, villain group of, whether it be some sort of Dark Avengers or anything like that. I think we're going to see a lot more of her if we can ever get Black Widow to be released. I think July now, finally. I feel like we'll see her, hopefully. in that one and kind of branch off from there.
Well, the rumor was that her debut was actually supposed to be in Black Widow, which, you know, again, strongly supports the whole Dark Avengers piece. You got US Agent as Captain America. You got Yelena Belova as I always want to say Baloney, but it's not. Yelena Belova as the new Black Widow, which explains where she's been, because a lot of people were asking, okay, Black Widow comes out in the past, this character's introduced, what the hell has she been doing?
Right.
That's always been the issue. Whole time. Yeah. You know? So I'm very excited to see that happen. I know a lot of people have been saying that they think that she's forming the Thunderbolts team, which I still I'm sticking true to my guns that she's forming the Dark Avengers, and the Thunderbolts are going to get formed by General Ross, as they typically are. And then Masters of Evil is going to happen with Zemo. I'm committing. All three of those different villain teams are going to happen. You know, I'm so like Taylor's just spellbound right now. He's just locked in. But no, I do think that those different villain groups are going to be coming in. Laura, what do you see coming in with Sharon Carter? Where do you think her story is going to go?
Oh, I'll tell you what I would love to happen. And what I don't think is actually going to happen. But what I would love to see is, like, obviously her and her family, they gave everything for their cause, for their country, for all this thing. And then because she helped Captain America in a time where people were being weird about it, Taylor's back. Because she did that, you know, she got shunned, and then she's got some feels about it. And I don't really blame her, because, you know, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, right? So it makes sense that she was the power broker. I get that. I would love for her to have her run, because she's got some power behind her. Like, even like you can tell in her scenes, she's calm, she's cool, collected. No matter what's going on, she's just like, I got this under control. It doesn't matter what's going on. So I super admire that about her, even with that whole when he's trying to blackmail her, and she's like, I don't do blackmail. Ding, he's gone. Like, oh, okay. That's where we're at right now, Miss Sharon. I would love for her at some point to have her run be like her supervillain self, but then bring it back home and remember that she is a good person inside, because she's helping them. This is just me personally. Like, I just want her to remember that she is a Carter. And
right. Yeah.
Has that goodness.
Really smearing the name now. Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, lady villains that are actually like amazing, like powerhouses, like the only other one I've seen is Hela, and like Hela was amazing.
So
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but like,
so I want them to commit full on evil Sharon Carter so bad. Like I wanted to go down the line of comic dive in. So Val is she worked for Shield, she worked for Nick Fury. You know, she escalated up the ranks, ended up having an affair with Nick Fury, because, you know, once you escalate up the ranks, you're like, hey, I guess this is how comics write things. I don't know. Then it turned out she was a double agent for Leviathan, which was a secret agency within Hydra. So she was way high up there, became the second Madam Hydra, in charge of all of that. Triple agent flipped back to Shield and was back to being a good guy. But I mean, like, her story is crazy. My hope is that we go down the whole Leviathan approach, where she's kind of in charge of this, and then Sharon ends up taking that over, becoming Madam Hydra. Her mom, or her grandmother, or Aunt Peggy, her aunt was the founder of Shield. New Agent Carter brings back Hydra. That's what I'm thinking.
Ooh. You heard it here first. I kind of like that.
And renames it, because that's what women
do.
Because that's what women do. Good. Thank you for that clarification, Laura.
We revamp it and we make it better.
If you guys ever any time, watch I think it's called Revenge. It's a TV show that Emily Van Camp was in, and she absolutely kills it. She's technically like the protagonist, but man, is she like, she's dirty. She is like, she does not play games, and she is ruining people's lives. So I'm very excited to see that side of her be able to slide into the MCU, because she got them shifty eyes.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm a little on your side on that side. I hope they go full just like evil Sharon Carter. Like, I think she's going to be a real like thorn in Sam's side, especially in Cap 4. Like, I think, you know, she's going to be supplying, at least I think potentially if they bring in the Thunderbolts, that's where they're getting their money. That's where they're getting their guns. That's where they, you know, I mean, I think they're, you know, she's a supplier for the Thunderbolts.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting, because then you got Val versus Sharon as like the two powerhouses leading their two new groups. I think
I love that.
And that ties in. I like this a lot, Taylor, because that ties in with her working at the government. If General Ross decides to move forward, maybe she's pulling Ross's strings, hiring the villains, like the reformed villains, to be playing those games. Ooh, I like it.
I like it
a
Did
lot.
you get chills just now?
A little bit. But okay, so Sharon aside, we're all pushing for evil Sharon Carter. I get it. It's a comic book. It's Disney. She might probably turn good at the end and be like, I'm sorry. No, I just commit to it. Baron Zemo. Obviously, he's, first off, you know, thank you so much for actually calling him Baron Zemo this time, instead of like, he's Zemo. He was a sergeant in an army, and no, he is a Baron, damn it.
Right. So coat, he earned that coat.
He did. He earned that coat.
He did. He earned it.
But obviously he's still pulling strings. You know, his butler killed the most amount of super soldiers this entire series. I think, you know, that says something.
Yeah. That's a lot. It's always the butler, right?
Right?
I'm always the butler.
Has Pennyworth come out yet? I'm just
I think we just saw a prequel.
You know, my first thought was, man, how pissed would you be if, like, in another realm of like super soldiers could see what happened? They're like, yeah, you got taken out by the oldest man in this vehicle.
Right. Yeah.
Just chilling on a hill. Yeah. You weren't even in battle. Shame.
Right.
For shame.
For shame.
That was my thought. No, I'm glad that Zemo's still alive, first of all, Baron Zemo. And I'm low-key excited about where we might actually go with this, because he's an interesting villain, because he's got some ideals that, like, as a mostly sane human being, I don't necessarily always disagree with him. Like, he's been through some stuff, he's seen some awful things, and he strongly believes that, like, super soldiers and things like that, like, don't have a place in this world. Like, and you can't really blame him. Like, the things that he brings up, the things that he does, you can see he has such a tender spot for children. It's hard to, like, remember he's a villain sometimes. So I'm just like, I just want to give you a hug, my dude. Like,
and he just wants to give you a Turkish delight. Irresistible.
Right, exactly. They're probably delicious. And I think that's a running theme with a lot of the villains in Marvel. You're always like, there's always that one like sentence, and you're like, man, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I just like, I didn't want to root for him, but you're like, yeah, no, I get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, his family got wiped, so he's gonna go after this. You know, with Sharon, you know, the country betrayed her. She's going after this. You know, I think even with John Walker, like, I think he's so, you know, he has to be this new Captain America that he's willing to kill for it, you know, and it ends up, that's why he takes this serum, because the people he's fighting who aren't even super soldiers are destroying him in hand-to-hand combat, and he just like cannot handle it. So he just got beat up for like the first 4 episodes and was like, well, I don't have an option. Like, this is, you know what I mean? I mean, he just got wiped. Like, they just wiped the floor with him. So, I mean, I think that's a huge, like, understandability is a huge thing in like Marvel villains. You get it just enough to be like, all right, you know, I got it. It's fine. Maybe it's not, but I get it.
Like, that's the thing. It's just like, oh, yeah, you're still the bad guy. You're trying to do
right. Like, who am I rooting for?
But yeah, but